Welcome to today's class. I warmly welcome to my Facebook audience, Zoom participant, and also today we are live on my YouTube channel as well. So I welcome everyone, even who will be watching this recording after end of this episode, because this class is very important and it's very crucial for changing your life in 360 degree. Uh, and there are a lot of significance because we have a lot of misconception about how to live the life, but more importantly, what is the life and what approach we need to think and follow it, especially when we are attached with our things, with ourselves, with people, with our job, with our work, with our communities, with our groups, religion, with our ethnicity, with our language, with our identities. So these are all attachments and how we need to take it. Um, so this is going to be a very important takeaway for your life. So before I go into the starting point, I want to tell you basically we are in connection of 14 spiritual principle. That is a series we started a couple of weeks ago. And this is online lifelong study circle. The main aim is to educate yourself to myself into different way of in different perspective, that how we can leverage our life, how we can think about to manage the people, attachment, addictions around us, and we are surrounded by a lot of calculated and miscalculated temptations, and we call it, we are so attached with them, emotionally attachment, physical attachment, and mental attachment as well. So that all we are going to learn in this video. So these 14 spiritual principle I have taken from the book The Map of Consciousness. If you see this is the Map of Consciousness by Dr. David Hawking. Dr. David Hawking is a spiritual authority. He is also phenomenal psychiatrist in America, and he is a written author of so many books in medicine, in spirituality, in especially in a heal process as well. One of the favorite book is I'm reading nowadays is about healing and recovery. This is amazing book. It's an advanced explanation about our problem, mental problem, physical problem, and spiritual problem with the healment as well. So let's go. Our today's session is about attachment and non-attachment. What do you mean by attachment, and what do you mean by non-attachment, and more importantly, what do you mean by detachment? Anybody have any idea about attachment and detachment and non-attachment? Because if we see the difference, it's a spiritual paradigms point of view, is they are different, but in generic point of view they are very similar. Like many people, they use I am a detached from my work nowadays. I am non-attached from my work from nowadays in a same more or less context. But there's a big difference between them, and that's we are trying to think about. So if you can you can type your message. What do you mean by detach and non-attach? And oh, hello, hi, good morning, Jenny. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Good morning. Okay, so I've not read the book, but before we go into it, I guess I'll tell you what I think it is. From logic, would be that if you're overly attached, like you're making yourself a role where if you lose it, that's not you anymore, and then you could lose your spirituality because you're attached to something else besides your spirituality, like maybe the vice president of a company, or you said your work, like you are a business owner and this is your work, and then you get so attached that you don't really talk to your family when you get home, and you say, I've worked all day to take care of you because I'm this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that kind of thing.
That's an attachment. Okay, what is a non-attachment?
A non-attachment where you would be able to still do the same job in a spiritual sense, feel really good about everybody that you touch, and that's not defining you. You're not attached to anything.
Mm-hmm. And what is detachment?
I mean, I'm just guessing over here, remember?
Yeah, you sound...
Gosh.
You sounds very right.
Detached from your work altogether. Can you do... I mean, you have to be attached to something in order to get it completed, right? And then detachment would be after the goal, or I don't understand detachment at all.
Yeah, that's it's a good understanding. Let's try to understand that's paradigm very well. You got the non-attachment very well. So let's try to define it first, and then we will read the text with examples, and then we will make a relevance with our current and contemporary life. So basically, non-attachment is like the Jenny root. She's absolutely right. When you are performing your everyday task, everyday roles in as a work, as a boss, as an employee, as a mom, dad, as a community person, as a religious person, as a whatever the identities you have associated with you, but you are not attached with them. You are doing it for not for any disappointment. You are not emotionally attached, in the sense if they are no longer in your life, you are no sad with them. You are not disappointed them, because you basically are attached with a true divine identity, with divine being. That's why you do not have any disappointments when they are not attached even with you. And you are happy still, you are in peace still if they are not in your life anymore. You are no longer depressed without them. And you are either not very happier when they are in your life. Because when you are happy with their identities, with their people associated with you, with money, then this is attachment, okay? This is non-attachment. So you sounds like emotionless, okay? But in a positive way, okay? Emotionless does not mean that you are without emotion, okay? I will tell you in a deeper way what does it mean. I'm just defining it in a superficial level. And detach is usually you don't want to associate with yourself with anyone, but at the end you are sad, you are depressed without them. You are really disappointed when you avoid them. Okay? For example, if doctor has said you have a heart attack, you do not need to eat that thing. You need to change your lifestyle. Now you are sad because you have to cut off the sugar level. You have to exercise every day. You have to wake up in the morning. You don't need to use alcohol a lot. So these all you have to detach them, and the result of detachment is usually disappointment, sadness, because you don't want to leave them, but you have to leave them, and that is a pain you will carry on, and that is form of suffering and pain. Okay, so in detachment you get the pain at the end. Even you avoid any relationship, any person in your life, so because you were very emotionally attached with everything. Okay, and however the non-attachment is you were attached before, but it doesn't make any difference if they are not with in your life. Okay, because you have a higher purpose, because you are connected your infinite consciousness. Okay, and you have a big vision. Okay, and that is called non-attachment. Okay, you don't care about the world. Even you are doing everything fantastically, perfectly, everything what you are doing, you are earning money, you are fulfilling your wife, your husband role, your mom, dad's role, uh, as a boss, as an employee, you're doing everything, but you are Sufi, you are yogi, you are monk. Okay, that type of feeling, that type of living lifestyle, if you have, then we call it non-attachment, and that is very difficult to achieve. Okay, very hardly people, I mean 0.1% or 1%, if I feel generous about number of people, 1% of good people out of 100% good people, only they have non-attachment. Okay, but mostly people, they are detached if they want um, to leave the other people. Okay, uh, so they are in pain and suffering. I'm talking about the good people, and whereas the normal people, like who are not in a good people category, you can imagine that they cannot imagine the detached. They are very much attached, and they're living very failure and mediocre life. Okay, so let's summarize this definition, and then we will go in detail with examples. That the non-attachment is the state of your being when you are not attached with anything, and you are happy, you are in peace, you are living mindfully, and even they are not with you, the people are not with you, even the money is not with you, even your identities are not with you, you do not care about them, you are still positive, you still living your life happily and peacefully. Detachment is when you leave the people, when you do not have money, uh, or you are out of job, you are out of your business, you want to heal your physical illness, and you have to avoid certain things, and that condition is you will live in pain and suffering, with emotional deprivation. That is called detachment. Okay, end result is not good. It impact negatively on your body, on your mind, and your emotional health as well. Okay, so that is a big difference between these two. Let's have a look on our screen and read couple of key things, and then we will understand. So, so I will ask my colleague Jenny Ruth if you start reading about what is the non-attachment according to Dr. David Hawkins.
Practice non-attachment, which is an attitude of withdrawal of emotional entanglement in worldly affairs. It leads to serenity and peace of mind. It is supported by refusing the emotional seduction of other people's upsets and problems. It also involves the willingness to allow the world to work out its own problems and destiny. Reactive involvement and intervention in the world can be better left to people who have a different calling.
Thank you. It's a great reading. Very well reading. Yeah, so practicing non-attachment is very obvious, okay? It is not a rudeness. It is not about you don't care about others, okay? It's not like that. Because you do not have control the things on certain level. That's why you still happy, okay? For example, the tension between Ukraine and America, the tension between Palestinian people and Israel. If I do not care about this incident, okay, that because I cannot do anything with them, okay, I do not have control with them, okay, I cannot influence on their result or on their actions in the war, okay. I don't need to take pain and suffering from the people they are in war, okay. I need to be connected with my divinity, my God, with myself in a positive way, okay. But at the same time, I am allowing myself to work with any NGO to help the people in the war as well. So I can go in Israel, I can help their wounded people, I can help their on a humanitarian purposes, but I'm not attached with them, okay. I'm still connected with my God, my positivity, okay. As soon I will attach with them, then I will start to feel suffering. I will start to feel pain. And that is a problem with pain and suffering, that it has a emotional connectivity, okay, in a negative way. So I don't need to. I need to be non-attached. And that is my ultimate goal if I want to live happily. And that is because I'm a person of peace and mind, okay? No matter what is happening in my family, no matter what is happening in my neighborhood, okay? I can contribute little bit, whatever I want to do. However, I'm not connected emotionally because I don't want to trap myself in people's problem. But that does not mean that I'm a rude or I'm a insensitive. That is mean that I am a proactive person. That proactive means the Stephen Covey's habit number 1, be proactive in a truly nature. When you are spiritually connected, then you are really, really proactive, okay? And you will not be reactive. You will not be biased. You will be no longer any in prejudice, okay. And so it means the habit number 1, be proactive. We can only practice truly when we are non-attached with other people, okay. And that is the essence teaching of Christianity, that is also taught in Buddhism, that is also taught in Hinduism, and that is also taught in Sufism in among some Muslims as well, okay. So this non-attachment message is many part of the world, but that's we have to attach with those people who believe with these notions, okay. Let's go further, okay. And we try to understand what in a detachment mean. Okay, what meaning of detachment. So let's try. I got some of the reading from a beautiful danielaporte.com. She is a spiritual life coach. She's an American and Canadian origin, but she has worked on non-attachment and detachment. So I took a couple of paragraphs from her website. So let's try to read the detachment. So Jenny, if you are able to read the left column, which is about detachment.
Detachment is hard on your heart, and it actually creates blocks to what you want. Non-attachment, on the other hand, is actually nourishing and much easier to put into practice. Detached is rigid, a bit chilly, a tad cranky like an uptight intellectual cut off from his or her heart. And here's the thing, detachment is often a cover-up for fear. Fear of not getting what you want. Detachment is defending itself against disappointment, which is why it's a bit bitchy.
Yeah, yeah, that's a little bad news. Thank you. It's a great reading. So, detachment, the end result will basically evaluate us. End result will tell us whether you are detached or non-attached. If you are living anything and you are sad, it means you are detached. Okay? You did it because of some fear. You did it because of some worldly need and something you want to achieve. And that's a litmus test that how you can find yourself where you stand in spiritual world. Okay? So detach is the attachment with something, and when you are no longer with that thing or person or money or with your identity, you are really upset. Okay, um, because of that happened because of fear. However, the non-attachment is opposite. Okay, and non-attachment is open and spacious. Non-attachment can hold your intense longing and it can hold possibility. Non-attachment knows that the something take time, that you have to meet the universe halfway, that free will is the guiding force, and that anything is possible. So you in when you are in process of non-attachment, you are very slow and progressing and slowly coming out from that emotional connectivity. You are coming very beautifully, very wisely, and very gradually, consistently, with huge persistence, you are coming out. So non-attachment does not happen overnight. Okay, non-attachment does not happen. It's a magic and you are no attached. No, you are in quest of non-attachment. Okay, you are working on yourself. Okay, you are working on how not to connect with your work emotionally, how you not to connect with your wife or husband emotionally, how not to connect with your children and money no emotionally, and slowly gradually you come out. Okay, I just got a beautiful image. If you see this, I think the Jenny Roots, you can see this beautiful image, and that will tell you the process of non-attachment. Okay, so there is in the image on my Zoom screen. If you see it, there are two circles and they are in coherence with a square shape, and they are emerged beautifully in the square. Okay, and that is forming a beautiful a heart. What does it mean? you enter in the world of non-attachment. Still you are in the world, okay? Still you are doing your work. Still you are practicing, you are earning money, but you are no longer attached emotionally with the money, okay? The litmus test is you need to see your behavior when you do not have money for some reason. You need to see when your spouse hurt you. You need to see when your children do not follow you. And then your action will tell you whether you are non-attached or detached. Most of the cases, 99%, we have a feeling of disappointment. We have a feeling of uh, emotional disappointment. And that means that we wanted to detach, and we are actually very attached with our family, with our money, with our work. And that's will give you pain and suffering. And but if they are not giving you any sadness, but you, even though you are still connected and you fulfilling your roles with them, it means you are non-attached and you are on a path of spirituality. You are on a path to connect with your God. You are path to connect with your self-love, and that is absolutely ideal and in a desirable world. Okay. So let's go a little bit in a deeper sense more. Uh, what does it further meaning of attachment, non-attachment, and detachment? So Jenny Root, if you can still read the paragraph, please.
A good person is one thing, enlightenment is another. You're responsible for the effort and not the result, which is up to God and the universe. Non-attachment is not the same as indifference or attachment. Misunderstanding it to mean that the development of detachment is required often ends up as flatness or apathy. In contrast, non-attachment allows full participation in life without trying to control the outcomes.
Yes, thank you very much. It's a great reading. So, in non-attached world and lifestyle, you do not try to control the outcome of your action. Okay, you still believe that I will still work on myself. I will still work on the life, in my job, in my relationships, in my children life, in my spouse life, but I do not want to see the result, because the result is something which is in hand of God. Okay, you you here seems to be a very humble person. You here seems to be very a person with humility. Okay, because uh, humility basically tells you do not need to see the result. Okay, you can expect a good intention of the outcome, but you don't believe on controlling. Okay, that opposite other people they do. They want to control the thing so that they can see the result, and that people who do usually the detached people or the attached people, they want to see the result. They want to control the people and the world around them, and they still are in pain and suffering. Even they have a control and they want to control, and that is a difference between non-attachment and detachment or attachment. Okay, so the beauty of non-attachment, you do not want to see the result, even though you are very optimistic and you always get a good result. Okay, and that is a beauty of this thing. So I see many people in my daily life, they do not they work very hard, they do what they can do, they are not emotionally attached with their family, money, and work, but they still they put the end result in the hands of their God, and they always get a good result by anyway. and their participation is amazing. Their sincerity is amazing. However, the other people who are detached or attached, they tried very hard. They tried to control the situation, control the people, okay, and usually they end in disappointment because they do not get the result fully in their hand. So that's why this is the difference of attachment and non-attachment. Okay. Uh, in the last session of this class, I want to see more in details. When the person is in non-attachment, what the process and result you get usually, you always live mindfulness. The many people they are not mindful all the time. They are distracted. They do not have a quality time, whatever the activity they are doing, because mindfulness is something they think that it's not achievable. However, if you are non-attached, then you living and practicing mindfulness, and whatever you will be doing, you will doing amazing result in that thing. Okay, especially in relationships. uh, so mindfulness is the result or process you get in non-attachment, and eventually the big result what you get in non-attachment is happiness. Happiness is not something which you smile and which you laugh. That is not happiness. Happiness is something which you really uh, feel with no fear, with genuine, heartily smiling. That is a happiness where there is no threat you feel, where you do not feel uh, that I will be a momentary happier, and after that I will have a disappointment or sadness. This genuine happiness is also taught by uh, Siddhartha Buddha as well, when he told that a lot of people they think that the Siddhartha Gautama he does not laugh, and it does not mean that he was not happy. He basically taught the genuine happiness meaning to the world, that you don't need to laugh like ha 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 ha, like we do a lot of laugh and we think that we are very happy. It doesn't necessarily that you are happy when you make a laughter, or you see comedy scenes or movies and you try to make you laugh. That is attempt which you trying to make you happy because of your non detachment or attachment. This is a worldly mechanism you try to make you laugh, and this is a self trap you are doing. If you are really happy, you do not need to laugh. You do not even need to smile. You just in serenity. You just feel blissfulness. Okay, and that is the desire which everyone should have. That happiness without laughter, happiness without smile, happiness is just an intense feeling within yourself. Okay, and that only possible when your higher self can feel peace and serenity through the non-attachment, to the situation. Okay. uh, However, in the uh, last part of this class, and then we will have a question answer, uh, that when we are in detachment process, okay, then we try to avoid, okay, uh, and we are so much avoiding the things which we don't want to avoid. Okay, for example, if you have a overweight and you want to reduce the weight, and what you will do, you will avoid the junk food, you will avoid unmindful eating, mindless eating. You will avoid lot of other things. But you do not want to do this, but you are doing because you want to reduce the weight. But you are in suffering when you are not eating, because you are hungry and you still not eating. You are in suffering when you want to eat your cheesecake, you and you don't want to. You have to avoid this cheesecake, okay? But if you will not eat the cheesecake, that is suffering, okay? So it means in detachment, you always have a pain and suffering, okay? You will not have a pleasant uh, outcome, okay? And also, the importantly, uh, you try to have a disinterest in detachment when you. So in Buddhism, according to Buddhism, this detachment is its form of escapism. So in detach, you are escaping from the reality, okay? And that's why you are in suffering. And you basically go into the future life, okay? Because you want to escape from your present moment, uh, and that's why you are in pain. So you have to be, or one has to be, non-attached, and that is the message, which is the core message of today. Uh, what do you think about this? And do you have a good reasons in your life to non-attach and practice non-attachment? Okay, or you want to live a pain and suffering by detach from the things which you love, or you want to remain attached emotionally, because that is a message of our worldly life, that unless we are not attached with my family, with my work, with my money, people do not think that I'm a successful person. What do you think? And do you have a question about this? And then I will show you the picture before we close it. You can type your message as well if you have any.
I have the hardest time with this because even though I'm seeing the differences and stuff, like I'm very emotional and passionate, and I can't imagine living a life made as this with, I mean, it's almost like it would be without that. So, I mean, I just don't even know how this would even work, you know? I mean, I do. It makes me run. Passion makes me run for everything. When I love someone, someone's wronged, I'll gather everyone around to try to help them, or even if it's a positive, great goal I'm going for, then, I always gather a team and get passionate and emotional about everything and then accomplish some pretty great things. But what's behind it is always this very emotional passion that I have. So this setup here doesn't seem to allow much for that.
Yeah. It's a story of everyone, including myself. When I'm not spiritually very connected, then I'm very attached with my things, my people, and I I do indulge myself in a fear, because I have a fear of losing them. I have a fear of being live alone in the life, in my life without people. I have a fear of being poor without money. Uh, I have a fear of being in illness and die eventually, without living a healthy life. So these are fears we have, and that's why we are more emotionally connected with them, because our emotions are the part of our ego trap, okay, backed by my egoic mind in terms of thoughts, okay? And that's why I'm attached with the things. And that's how the whole world is designed for me. And that's why we call it's an illusion. It's a beautiful illusion, and it's a so deep illusion that a common person cannot think about to escape from it. But eventually, because our nature is basically egoless, okay? We have a divinity, okay? And therefore, we want to escape this attachment. And majority people, they chose the way of detachment, which is a wrong way of getting rid of this attachment, okay? Until you come across with the guru, with your teacher, spiritual teacher, or you come across the books and gurus where they teach you about non-attachment is the genuine way how to remain attached with the people and thing, and still you are out of that circle, out of that trap as well. So you are part of trap, but you are, because you are not emotionally and egoically you are attached, that's why you are safe, and you can still connect with your God and achieve ultimate happiness. uh, and that's why the main purpose of my class is to help the people, to educate the people, and also to remind myself about not to detach, not to attach, but practice non-attached, which uh, practically I am in happiness. Practically I am in connection with my God. But of course, the excellence, the perfection will come. More I will practice non-attachment consciously. Consciously, this should be part of my consciousness, and that's why I will be a very happier person, generally. So that's the how we should do. But our world, our society, is not designed for this. We salute or we gratitude the people mostly who are more attached with. That's why we call it crazy people. We like crazy people. Why? Because crazy people are very fundamentally attached with money, with people, with their passion. Okay, and they do amazing things with this as well. And but the opposite is true. Opposite is taking you to the path of success and the path of truth, and that is a non-attached. And this non-attachment is basically our main purpose. This should be our purpose. Now, I will show you these two pictures, okay? And I'm not sure the people who are on Facebook or YouTube, they cannot see this picture. On the left side, the person is sitting, and on the right hand side, the person is also sitting. In that picture, one person is detached and other person is non-attached. Can you spot it? Which person is attached and which person is non-attached, and why? You can unmute your mic and you can speak as well. What do you think the person who is in the left is a non-attached or detached? Or person on the right picture is attached or detached or attached? What do you think? Oh, hello. Hi,
The
Richard.
person might be attached.
Sorry, go ahead.
The person on the right might be attached
Okay.
because he's leaning in. He's kind of like,
Yeah.
the one on the left looks more calm.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, Jenny, what's your answer?
I can't tell. I guess I'm so bad at this non-attachment that I can't even tell.
uh,
I mean, yeah, I
is
just can't tell.
it's a puzzle, isn't it? Okay. Okay. Let's go quickly. Because Richard has just joined, we have covered a lot of attachment and non-attachment from last 45 minutes. And the definition which I just want to recap for the definition of detachment and non-attachment is the attachment is the process when you are emotionally attached with your people and things. Non-attachment is the process or is the practice when you still doing everything as it is, but you are not emotionally connected. Okay, you do not control on the circumstances, and you leave the result on the nature itself. You leave the results of the happening around you. Whatever it happen, you don't care. Okay, no, this don't
Yeah.
care. This don't care is not a negative term. Here, this
Not a-
is a non. You don't care means
Wait a
you
minute.
do not want to involve in these problems of the people, problems in the world, and that is called non-attachment. But however,
Yeah, but isn't non-attachment just the opposite of attachment?
yeah,
They're opposite sides of the same coin. Because when you try to be non-attached, you're attached to non-attachment. So they're opposite sides. They both involve some kind of attachment.
yeah, because
So peace, true peace, is beyond attachment and non-attachment.
right,
Both non-attachment and attachment are in the field of the mind. The mind says, I'm going to be non-attached, or I'm going to be attached, right? That's still within the mental, emotional field. Peace, true peace, is beyond that. It's when the brain is free of the mind, all of that activity, attachment, non-attachment, which are mental constructs, and then there's peace.
absolutely,
There's love.
yeah.
There's
So
creativity.
basically, in a non-attachment,
That how
you are not attached to
and a feeling and a feeling in your bones of affection, of deep care for not just your family and your friends, but for the entire human race. So it opens up all this energy. This energy is released. The energy of compassion, passion for all beings, not just for those, the limited number that you think you love,
yeah,
that you think you feel connection to, but for all beings.
yeah. And
I feel that. I feel that for everyone. Like, I really do. I love every single one person. You know what I mean? Like, I really do.
Even the enemy that wants to make your life a living hell. You
Right.
treat them, you have the same feeling, I'm talking about the feeling in your blood, in your bones. You have the same feeling for them that you would for your dearly beloved children.
Yeah, definitely.
and,
Right.
and the Richard, what is the meaning of
Then
detachment?
nothing more to add. If you're already living that,
Hi,
there's nothing more to say.
Richard, what's the meaning of detachment?
Detachment. I don't know. It depends how you use it.
Yeah,
But again, whatever you define, see, the definition is of the mind. You say this means detachment, this is non-attachment, I am living detachment, and I am not living non-attachment. Meaning these are just words, concepts,
yeah,
right? They're mental constructs. Whereas true love, peace, and joy and happiness is beyond that.
yeah. Absolutely.
It's when the brain is free of that, free of the mind.
Yeah,
The mind is the block. The mind is what's preventing spirit, soul, heart from manifesting in daily life.
Yeah. So,
The mind is the block.
basically, we living in this world with the mind, right? And even if we are living consciously in the world, that if we are living without mind, it means we are living without emotions with it, and that is not possible. Okay. However,
No, I beg to differ.
yeah, so let me complete it.
I beg
So
to differ.
yeah, so if we are
It is
living,
possible.
if
It
we
is your natural state. You're already there. It is your natural state. It has nothing to do except to wake up, to snap out of the dream world
yeah,
in which you say it's impossible. You get it? The mind says it is impossible. You get it? You're in
yeah,
a dream world. You're hallucinating.
yeah,
You are not seeing things as they actually are. You're not living the truth. You're living in a dream world
yeah,
of
that's right.
acceptance, rejection, belief, disbelief.
So basically, in my this class, we have defined the non-attachment is living without mind, but you are living with compassion, with empathy, okay, and you still are connected with in spiritually as well. The detachment you're talking about, the
Okay.
detachment is the outcome when you want to force yourself to stay away from your loving things, the things which you love in
Right.
this world, and that is called detachment. And end of detachment is disappointment, craziness, negativity appears in a body, in a mind, and you feel pain and suffering, and that is not desirable. What you're talking about is a non-attachment, like you mentioned. The coin has a two sides, and until we are not connected with both sides, then we are living spiritual and truly life. That is called non-attachment. That is called
Let me show you.
that's how I'm defining it, and Buddhist people they have
Yeah,
defined
but
it.
to avoid confusion,
Yeah.
you shouldn't use the word attachment at all. In other words, freedom is the ending
Yeah,
of attachment and non-attachment, meaning free of all the mental constructs, the concepts, the ideas, the beliefs,
yeah,
the philosophy,
yeah.
the religion. It's the end of all that. It's freedom.
Freedom. I agree with you.
Freedom to inquire, freedom to connect,
Yeah,
to communicate with all beings, the birds, the insects, the animals.
yeah. Because we
You
have
get it?
we are trapped in a language barrier. I agree with you.
Right.
I'm agree with you. This is a limitation of language. That what we call it, if we are free. So you use the word freedom. That is absolutely fine. But some people use the freedom word with non-attachment. But I agree with you that we still are attached. Even if we are not non-attached, that also taking us towards attachment. I agree with you. But this is just a semantic problem. Uh, but freedom is a good word. I agree with you.
Total freedom,
Yeah, total free. That's absolutely.
absolute freedom,
Yeah, and if you
right?
see this image, from this image, what the message you are getting? What's happening in this image?
Well, a unity, but unity is not oneness. Unity involves still division. So unity is not oneness. And oneness is what is happening. Oneness is the truth. The idea of unity, right, in which separate things come together, right, is an illusion. It's not what's happening. What's happening is there's only one. That's what's happening. But you're thinking in terms of division, separation, Canadian, Russian, German, Christian, Jewish, Muslim. You're divided. You're all divided up in your head. And by the way, language is not the problem. Words are not the problem. It's the thinker behind the language. In other words, who's using the words? Is it your brain that is highly programmed, conditioned like a robot using the words, the language, or is it the brain that is totally free, that is using the words, the language? So it's not about thoughts. It's not about thinking. It's about who's doing the thinking.
It's a thinker. Yeah.
In other words, are you doing the thinking, or is the spirit doing the thinking? You get it? If you're doing the thinking, we're headed for conflict, violence, suffering, fear, right? But if the spirit, soul, which all that word means, it's not separate from the brain body. It just refers to the brain that is totally free of the mind. When the brain has set itself, and only the brain can do it, your brain can set itself free of the mind and return to your natural state of humanity, of humaneness, of love. That is your natural state. But again, you're dreaming. You have all these ideas in your head. You think you're Russian, German, et cetera, et cetera. You have values that you're attached to. You have culture. You have ethnicity, race, nationality. You're attached to your nation, to your religion, to your God, right? So you're not free. You're living in a dream world invented by thought. Thought invented the mind, the thinker, the observer, the perceiver, the chooser. Thought did not create the brain body. Thought did not create the tree, the cloud. But thought invented the me, the I, the self, the mind.
And what
you
is...
get it?
Yeah.
Which is a limitation and finiteness.
Yeah.
It's limited.
Yeah, that's right. That's
very interesting. So
the
I think you're saying if you can, when you're first born and you don't know what your religion is and you don't know what your race is and you don't know anything really until somebody tells you what you know. They say, here's this, you're a Catholic. Here's this, you're, a white person.
No, but here's the thing.
That's so cool.
But here's
though,
the thing, the baby's brain is an ancient brain. The baby is not born with a blank slate. It inherits, it carries the brain, doesn't belong to the baby. It's the human brain which has evolved for hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years and has accumulated hundreds of thousands of years of memory. That baby comes in with that ancient old brain. So it's already programmed. You get it? It's programmed for fear, anxiety, guilt, attachment, shame, vanity, envy, greed, jealousy. It's already programmed for that. Do you understand? So the question becomes, can the brain that is so programmed, so conditioned, right, by the past memories, can it free itself? Not partially, not temporarily, but fully and forever. You get it? Beginning with the children at the earliest age, so that they don't have to suffer any mental, emotional disturbances. The average brain is neurotic, right? It's neurotic. It's suffering. It's ill. It's acting. It's broken up, fragmented, full of contradictions. It says one thing, it does another. It's confused, right? That's the average brain. So the question, that's not the natural state. The natural state of the brain is tranquility, peace, calmness, connection, communication. That is and you're there already. But superimposed on you is this dream world. So the brain body is dreaming. So can the brain body wake up? Snap out of it. You get it? Through awareness, through choiceless awareness of what is happening. The very awareness that you're trapped, that you're living a dream, is the beginning of waking up. You get it? The awareness that you're dreaming, that you don't see me, You see your image of me. You don't see your children. You see in the image that your mind has made of your children. That image is a limitation, distortion of your children. It's not your children. You're not having a relationship with anybody. You're having a relationship with the projection that you give to everything. So you never are in relationship with anything except your own projection. You're worshiping yourself. Like when you worship God, you made an image of God, right? That image is based on your limited knowledge, limited experiences. And that image becomes a projection of yourself. So the self is worshiping the self. So when you become aware of all this, the very awareness of it is the beginning of freedom.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you return to your natural state,
yeah,
which is love, peace, joy, creativity.
Absolutely.
You are the light of the world. You are the truth. You're not part of the truth. You are the whole truth.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's come to our the last minutes of the point of practicing non-attachment and attachment. So basically, when we are non-attached, then we live the life of freedom, like the Richard has said. And when we living the life as a detached, then the end is avoidance, the end is a fear, the end is pain and suffering. So the spiritual principle number 12 is saying we must need to practice the non-attachment if we want to live a joyful and life free of pain and suffering. So if we come back to the image which I showed you earlier, if I show you the moon, the detachment and the attachment, so the left side, the person is sitting, that person is surrounding by lot of things, okay, and that person is trying to not associate with the things and the concept around in the room. That person looks still attached in the life. So this is the example of detached. And the right hand side, that person is enjoying, is practicing the non-attachment, which the Richard called freedom. And however, that person is still involved without emotions with the world. And he is living in a peace at the moment. So ideally, the things which we are here emphasizing in the principle practice non-attachment or freedom is the right image, this one, that this is the whole world, we are fully participating, but at the same time we are not attached emotionally, we are not even detached with that thing. However, we using the word here non-attached, which referring to the freedom of everything, even freedom from the mind, even freedom from the concept we construct in our mind as well. That is a desirable, and that is our spiritual principle number 12, which we started 14 spiritual principle a couple of weeks ago. So next week I will be coming to you with the spiritual principle number 13, which has a statement, accept that everything serves a purpose. That is a spiritual principle number 3. And the next principle is avoid false gurus, or the avoid false leaders, which spiritual leaders we call it. So if you have a question or you want to share any thought.
Yeah, all these principles feed the mind. They strengthen the mind. That's what you're doing. You're strengthening the mind. The mind is the block. The mind is what's preventing compassion and goodness and kindness.
But
the mind is preventing the truth. And you're feeding the mind. And your practice. Who's doing the practicing? It's the mind. The mind is practicing. In other words, you're strengthening the illusion of a mind. There is no mind. There's nothing there. You're dreaming. The mind is the invention of thought. It's a bundle of thoughts. Thoughts are the memories of the past. They're
Yeah.
not what's happening now.
Yeah.
Something is happening now. Something marvelous, magnificent. But you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
You're living in the past with your principles and your practices and your beliefs. You're not alive.
Yeah.
You're dead.
Yeah, basically these 14 principles are feeding to living the life without mind, to living the and enjoying the world without mind. We are not, but we have to pass through the mind. We need to directly linked with our non-egoic mind. I think that you're referring to the non-egoic mind. That is the desirable, which gives us the freedom. So even we are practicing here, we are reading here, we are speaking here. That is through our mental creation, but that mental creation is taking us to freedom through, because we are talking about something highest teaching. We're talking about a non-attached world, a non.
Look.
That's why we have a different approach. I agree with
No,
you.
but look, the mind is a bundle. The mind is a bundle of confusion and contradictions, right? So you're asking that mind to bring you to the clarity, to the peace, to the lucidity. It can't. You're using something, you're trying to use something that is incapable of bringing you to that place of truth and connection, right?
Right.
It's only when it comes to an end, when it stops completely, then that is the beginning of truth.
Okay.
You get it? The
Richard,
mind, you're feeding the mind. You have to stop feeding it.
Yeah,
You have
Richard,
to,
I
you
have
have to
a
realize
question.
there's nothing there.
Richard,
You get it? Just wake up.
I have a question
What?
that I have a question to you. So you sounds very genuine and truth seeker person, and you know the truth. Tell me the words you are speaking now, where these are generating.
They're coming from a brain
Yeah.
that is totally free of Richard. In other words, Richard is not talking to you now.
Yeah.
It is a brain that is free of Richard
Yeah.
that is speaking to you now.
Yeah, I agree with you. I understand where
see?
you're coming from. I'm
In other
also,
words, silence is speaking.
yeah.
Stillness is speaking.
Yeah, absolutely.
The sacred is speaking.
I know that.
The ground of all being is speaking.
Yeah,
Truth is speaking.
Eckhart Tolle.
Right? It's happening.
Yeah, Eckhart Tolle himself, that he's talking about, he's telling us about a lot of things. I believe by this as well. I live by this as well, what you're talking about. But the notion of mind is not what basically you're trying to perceiving it here. I'm not favoring the mind. I know the mind is only the creation of ego. The mind is a hallucinated box which we have created. But the spirituality is also when we write the book, when we speak a good notion, that comes through my soul, through my brain, and it reflects on my external reality, which I live here. But still,
Wait a minute.
I need to
Is the
bypass.
spirit, is the soul separate from the body? You get it? There's a belief, religions teach, that the spirit and the soul, right, is separate from the body. That's an illusion. Thought invented that. Spirit and soul and heart, love, those words refer simply to a brain body, which thought did not create, right? To a brain body that is totally free. You get it? And then you say spirit is happening, soul is happening, heart is happening, love is happening, creative. These are just different words referring to a brain body that is totally free of the past, conditioning, programming, free of all that active memory, your identity structure, all the memory that goes into building up this thing called me, the I, the self, the mind, the consciousness, the psyche, right? That's the past. It's a dead thing. And it prevents you from being present. You're never present. You're never fully giving all your energy to whatever you're doing. Whether you're washing the dishes or whatever you're doing, you're always distracted. The mind is taking you here and there and everywhere. You're never giving your full 100% energy to what is happening from moment to moment, right?
Absolutely.
Which is dangerous, which leads to conflict, which leads to violence and suffering, fear, anxiety, feeling of loneliness, isolation. I don't feel connected to you. You see? It leads to all of that. And all of this is an illusion. It's not what's happening. You get it? It's all made up. It's not actually happening. It's a dream. You're dreaming. The brain body is dreaming all this.
So, Richard.
So can you just wake up?
You
get it? Just wake up.
So, Richard, do you believe on actualization, self-actualization?
What I'm trying to point out is there is no self. It's all made up. Thought made it up. Thought is the response of memory.
And what about the...
And memory is limited.
What is actualization? So you believe on actualization only, without self.
What do you mean by actualization?
Actualization, the world or things or the thoughts as it is, without any addition, without... The things are as it is. That is called the world of actualization. So I'm not adding or removing anything. How the things
are you talking about
things are as it is?
Are you talking about the isness, the what is happening?
Yeah.
Then that takes place when there's freedom. Then you're in the flow. You are the flow.
You are the flow.
You are the flow. All your actions are spontaneous, right? All your actions are not interfered with by thought. Your actions, because you're connected. You get it? You're connected with everything, with everyone. And the action that you do, your behavior, is the movement of that oneness. You are the oneness that is moving, acting. There's no decisions. There are no choices. There's only light, clarity, lucidity.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
Knowledge is limited.
Yeah, absolutely.
But a brain that is totally free of knowledge, totally free of active memory, right? Because there is passive memory. Passive memory, I'm using passive memory now to put into words, right? I'm using the computer that requires passive memory, know-how, skill, right? I'm not talking about that memory. I'm talking about the active memory that builds up this identity structure called me, the observer, the experiencer, the chooser. I say, I choose. Who is I? It's the bundle of active memory. Your culture, your beliefs, your ideas, all of that. Your experiences.
So, Richard, have you studied or read about Eckhart Tolle's?
No. But I know, I've heard the name, yes.
The
Power of Now and all that.
So he talks about exactly what you are talking about.
I'm not sure if he is.
He is...
You know how you know, by the way?
He talks about the freedom.
You know how you know if this has happened to you? Because sometimes people ask me, how do you know when this has happened? Because it's an event. It's a mutation in the brain. At the level of the DNA, there's a mutation that occurs. So the question is, how do you know it has happened, right? How do you know when you wake up, right? In other words, what changes? So one way to find out is see how you treat your worst enemy. The ones who want to make your life terrible and kill your children. If you have the same love and affection and care for them that you do for the ones you think you love, that's a clue that this has happened. This event has happened. You get it? So, and another way is you might have a moment of fear. You might have a moment of anxiety, worry. You might have a moment of sorrow, of attachment, desire. If you do, you know you're still in the dream world. You get it? So you may think you're awake, right? But you're still trapped. You're still dreaming. You're still in the matrix. So the way to know is by your action, by your relationship with others,
Yeah.
the quality.
Yeah.
And that's how you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if somebody can insult you and you do not get hurt, right?
Yeah.
Or praise you and you do not get vain, then you know. You get it? That's a clue that this event has happened. You are immovable. In other words, they can throw you in the middle of a war zone with bombs and everything happening, and you are immovable. You get it? But if you get all emotional and this and that, then you know, oh, you're still dreaming. You're still in the matrix. This has not occurred. This event, this awakening has not happened. I thought it happened, but then I see it hasn't happened. So by the fruit, you shall know them. By the action. You get it? In your daily life. Because everything changes. When you wake up, everything changes. The way you treat others, the way you live, everything changes. The way you talk, everything changes. It's not the same, right? Because now you're connected. You're in communication. There's no sense of division, no separation from others, right?
So, Richard,
you can listen.
Can you recommend any reading or link or book?
No. Oh, well, I have a meetup that I set up, but
Okay.
a book, you are the book. You understand? You have to go within. Stop looking outside for the answers. You have to stop that. You have to look inside. You have to find out, who am I? Who is the I? What is the I? You have to find that out. Not through help somebody else. Through somebody else's lens. Through Freud, Jung, what Rumi said, what Jesus said, what somebody else said, the Buddha said. No. You must put them away. All those people, what they said. And you must go on the journey alone. Alone. You must find out for yourself directly. You must stop looking outside. Go within.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Really appreciate your insight of your thing. These are the wisdom, definitely. So thank you very much. We will see next Sunday with the next spiritual principle on the same time on Zoom, Facebook, and on the YouTube as well. Thank you very much, Richard and Jenny. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye, Meritive. I'll see you
Bye.
next week. I want to call you right after this too, because I've got to talk to you about something else.
Bye.
Okay. All right. Bye.